Hello and welcome to What's Live. Today, Bella and I are going to be exploring the body graph with you. The reason for these lives are to help you get up to speed with where we're at in the Unlock Your Design universe, because there's so many new people coming in and our groups are growing quite fast. And if you have come in the beginning, you may not be familiar with these terms. So we want to introduce you to different terminology so that you feel like you have a foundation and that you have stability, so then you can explore different things. Because when you first come in, it's like learning a brand new language. And we've already spoken about the transits, the mandala and how that works, and that's a previous live we did. We talked about intuition and business. We have our Thrive by Design masterclass webinar that we're going to do next Tuesday. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to go into the Splenic Hub. So today we wanted to show you what the heck is a body graph. And Bella's going to pull up a body graph so that we can look at it. Body graph is a term we use in human design. And the body graph is the way in which your energy moves and flows. You have definition, which we classify as any of these shapes colored in, filled in. We call that defined. Anything that is white, that is where you are undefined. And if you think of these centers as being either things that you are transmitting or emoting, those are going to be the defined ones, the colored ones. Where you are receiving and taking in are going to be the white ones. And that is, you have this flow of energy coming back and forth. And so most people have a balance of like the defined and undefined centers. Some of you may be more open and have more white than others, and some of you may be more defined, where you have more of these centers filled in or colored in. And Bella's going to come in and kind of elaborate a little bit more on this, but this is the way your energy works. And this is what was calculated on the moment you were born. So you'll see all these different gates were activated. They filled in different gates in the centers, and then sometimes they formed channels. So Bella, did you want to come in and teach about this a little bit? Yay.
I actually want to have you understand how this gets filled in. So you can see that we have all the astrological signs. And if you ever have seen an astrological chart, you know that it's a wheel and it's going to have all the planets in the wheel. Well, that's the same thing for human design, but often we only see the body graph. We don't see the wheel. And we're like, oh, why do I have these black and red things and all the numbers? Well, the way that we see it in the wheel is perfect, because you can see that when we look, for example, in the Libra, we're going to have 5 or 6 different gates. When we look at Virgo, the same thing, 5 or 6 different gates. They're always going to be at the same placement outside or inside the astrological wheel. In the body graph, you see that there are numbers, and you can see the body graph like a slate, a blank sheet that has numbers. And you're always going to see, before anything is filled in, and it's just like a blank thing with numbers, you're always going to have, for example, the 64 in the head. You're always going to have the 30 here in the solar plexus. The numbers are fixed in those places. They never changed. And what you're doing is that when you're born, you're going to see that you have the planets. So usually in our astrology, everything that's black, all the planetary bodies, they're black, are going to be somewhere in the wheel, in some gate. In that, there are 13 of them. In human design and Gene Keys, we're using both the moment you're born, the black activations, and we're using all the planets where they were 3 months before. So they're red planets. So in all, you're going to have 26 different activations. And the way that it works is that because all the things are in the same place, you're just going to start somewhere. Oh, 46. Okay, it's a black planet. Let me fill in 46. So we filled in halfway through. Next one, 57. Oh, you have it twice in both red and black. Go to 57, fill it in halfway through in red and black. And you do that with all the gates that are here. And you're going to see, this is what happens. Sometimes you're going to have 2 gates that meet. So when you have 28 and 38 filled in, they're going to meet in the middle. That makes a channel, which is going to make this center colored in and this center colored in. Wherever you see that there are 2 gates that meet, the 30 and the 31 and the 7, they are meeting. So the throat and the G are defined. You have the 57 that is meeting the 34, so the sacral and the spleen are defined. So that's the way that you have definition. When two gates meet, both centers that are around that channel are going to be defined. And then there are places where nothing is meeting nothing. So that those centers are staying open. And that's what Ashley was explaining in the beginning, that it's how the energy move. Wherever you have definition, colored centers that are put together, connected together by channels, that's where the energy goes out in the world. These are your themes in life that you are fixed to show others, to impact the world with. And wherever there's openness, this is where you're here to filter energy. So energy direction where it's colored goes out. Energy direction where it's white goes in. And that is the way that energy moves in you. And you can look at those specific 3 channels in this case. So here I have the channel of stubbornness or of struggle. Here I have the channel of power. And here I have the channel of the alpha. Those 3 themes, those 3 channels are going to be very present in my life consistently from always to always. And then we could say that the not self theme, and you can even see it says not self theme, in the open centers is also going to be something that I'm conditioned to be kind of stuck in. So here, thinking about things that don't matter. Here it says pretending to be certain. Here it says feeling unworthy or undervalued. And here it says avoiding confrontation with truth. Those are 4 things that I want to be very aware of, because it's going to be probable that I go to those places when I don't know what to really do with everything that I'm filtering, whether that is emotional unease, or there are too many thoughts, or people wanting me to be certain, or people pressuring me to show what I can do. Mm-hmm. That's possible responses that are going to take me out from my design and living my definition, living my energy in the world. Instead, I'm going to be busy and unhappy trying to make these things work, but I'm not actually here for that. I'm here to be wise about those not self things, and I'm here to live out my definition.
Mm-hmm. So we've been on this Thrive by Design journey for a few months now, where we've been going into these different centers to illuminate the archetypes that live here. We call them hubs. And so we've gone into the root hub, where we've talked about foundation and stability, and also stress. That's what's generated here, the pressure that can be felt here. We've gone into the sacral. The sacral is all about sexuality, creativity, among other things, and it's your life force center. We've gone into the solar plexus, that is feelings, emotions, relating, emotional competency. That's what we find out in this hub, this center. And on Tuesday, we're moving into the Splenic hub. And the Splenic hub, the theme here is intuition, instinct, and body awareness. And here we find these archetypes that are also the portal guardians of fear. We have fear gates here. And we're going to be able to feel into, depending on what's defined in us, what are our main fears? Like if you have the 57, you have the fear of the future. The 44 is the fear of the past. So it's our ability to come into the center, to really tune into our intuition, to tune into our instinct, and to have this body awareness. If you're defined, if you're open, then what you're going to be tuning into is the definition of the other person. So we're not going to go too much into that, but we wanted to bring awareness of the body graph to you so that you understood overall what this means, and then invite you to the Thrive by Design journey. It's a free webinar that we're doing on Tuesday. If you're interested, comment, we'll get you the link for that so that you can join us and start that journey into the Splenic hub, and hopefully help you thrive by design there. So instead of being in survival, where we can face that with fears and such. So thank you for joining
learning
us.
About the centers is about learning to live your design and understanding how energy moves within you and with you in the world. So it's extremely helpful, and it allows you to have an inner stability as you walk through life. So for me, I think that's the one thing with human design that has made me really come back to my inner authority and function in the world, because I can come back to knowing what's me and what isn't me. So for me, this journey is, especially when you start, I think this is the best place to start. And then there are spirals where you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. So still, I learn things now I was just thinking about the Splenic center and trauma. And I'm like, when we go into the Splenic center and the body awareness, like the way that we are having been impacted, so that our instincts sometimes like fire in a way that's not helpful anymore. So there are always new layers, but it's a really good place to start the journey. So if you want to come with us, it's a free webinar, and then we'll tell you more about the whole journey after that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.